Magnus Carlsen and Kasparov are two of the biggest names in chess. At the young age of 13, Magnus Carlsen faced off against the renowned Russian chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov in a memorable encounter. This notable game took place at the Reykjavik Rapid 2004 tournament. Despite his young age, Carlsen demonstrated his talent against the former world champion. Bobby Fischer, Garry Kasparov, and Magnus Carlsen are at the center of the argument about who is the finest chess player. Some think Carlsen to be the greatest chess player ever, while others claim Kasparov to be the best. Carlsen actively plays in the top level of chess competition, whereas Kasparov is retired and largely a commentator in elite chess competitions. Kasparov and Carlsen engaged in a game at the Reykjavik Rapid 2004 tournament that demonstrated Carlsen's talent at the age of 13. In Reykjavik, Iceland, there is a chess competition called Reykjavik Rapid. Since it is a rapid chess tournament, participants have less time to make moves than they would in a regular chess game. Chess players from all around the world are drawn to this competition because of its fierce and thrilling games. Garry Kasparov. One of the greatest players in history, Garry Kasparov is a Russian chess grandmaster and former world champion. Kasparov achieved widespread acclaim for his extraordinary chess skills at a young age, and at the age of 22, became the youngest ever uncontested world chess champion. He remained the champion for more than 15 years until he was defeated by Vladimir Kramnik in 2000. He was renowned for his aggressive play, tactical acumen, and thorough knowledge of the game. The rivalry between Garry Kasparov and Anatoly Karpov in the 1980s, which featured numerous heated and fiercely contested games between the two, is regarded as one of the best in chess history. In 2005, Kasparov ended his career as a professional chess player. Magnus Carlsen. Grandmaster in chess from Norway and reigning world champion is Magnus Carlsen. At that time, he was one of the youngest grandmasters in history, becoming one at the age of 13. In 2013, he defeated defending champion Viswanathan Anand to win the World Chess Championship. Carlsen, who is well known for his adaptable playing style and prowess in a variety of scenarios, has made important contributions to the growth of chess theory. Magnus Carlsen has solidified his position as one of the greatest chess players of all time thanks to his tremendous talent, persistent success, and a good influence on the chess community. The debate about the greatest chess player ever continues with contenders like Bobby Fischer, Garry Kasparov, and Magnus Carlsen. Some chess enthusiasts believe that the Russian grandmaster Garry Kasparov holds the title, while others argue that the Norwegian powerhouse Magnus Carlsen is the best. Kasparov, now 54 years old and retired from professional chess in 2005, could be seen as a generation apart from Carlsen. Comparing their current performances doesn't offer clear conclusions. However, if they were to face each other today, Carlsen would likely be the undisputed favorite. He consistently competes at the highest level, while Kasparov primarily provides commentary on elite chess tournaments and occasionally engages in rapid games. Carlsen benefits from the advancements of precise chess engines and modern theoretical openings, which were not available during Kasparov's prime. To truly compare these two exceptional chess giants, a closer examination of their careers is necessary. We will examine a remarkable match between the legendary chess players Kasparov and Carlsen. With the time ticking, the game begins, but Kasparov is noticeably missing. He eventually shows up, having wasted a lot of time already. Despite the significant stakes, Kasparov set up his pieces and the game starts. Kasparov reacts to Carlsen's pawn to d4, opening move with a queen's pawn move. Carlsen proceeds by advancing his subsequent piece to c4, instantly putting the black piece in danger. Kasparov uses the Slav defense, often known as the pawn to c6 defense, to defend against the queen's gambit. Slav defense. The chess opening known as the Slav defense appears following the move 1 d4 d5 to c4 c6. Black uses the strong and well thought out defense to thwart the queen's gambit, which white starts with the move 2c4. The Slav defense tries to preserve a strong pawn structure while establishing a strong presence in the center. With an emphasis on strong pawn structures and piece growth rather than quick tactical exchanges, the Slav defense is renowned for its positional style. It provides possibilities for various playing styles and preferences when its assortment of sub-variations and strategies, which includes the semi-Slav defense and the exchange variation. If you're liking the video so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch our previous videos. Kasparov moves his knight to d7 as the game progresses, which results in the queen's gambit being rejected. Carlsen moves a piece to square e3 to maintain control of the critical middle 4 squares, which are sometimes referred to as the game's turning point. Kasparov, though, responds by moving his queen to a5 and pinning the knight on c3. This compels Carlsen to counter the pin by shifting his other knight to d2, but this reduces the pin's impact on the board's center. Magnus defends his knights by putting his queen on c2, after Kasparov strengthens the pin by moving his bishop to b4. As soon as both players reach the castle, Kasparov determines it's time to strike. He captures Magnus's pawn and seizes control of the board's center by playing pawn to d4. Magnus, though, answers b3 with the knight and executes a stunning fork that hits the queen and pawn. As a result, Kasparov is compelled to flee and take back the center with a pawn move of his own. Magnus can place his bishop solidly on c4 thanks to the following middle board deal. Both players were almost equal, with Magnus having a tiny lead. However, the passage of time is starting to matter. Magnus activates his rook as Kasparov moves his queen back to c7. Kasparov forces Magnus's bishop on g5 to withdraw by moving his piece on the king's side ahead of h6. Magnus moves the bishop to d6 in response, putting Magnus's king in jeopardy and perhaps open to a checkmate if Kasparov can move his queen to h2. Magnus, a 13-year-old, fortunately sees the threat coming and moves his piece to the king's side to h3, giving him some breathing room. This changes the course of the game. Kasparov plays his bishop to h2, after a few moves to check Magnus's king. Magnus must leave the square without taking it, since the queen is immediately in his way. Magnus is subsequently able to seize the bishop and exchange pieces when Kasparov positions his knight in front of his queen. Magnus Carlsen seizes the initiative and initiates his assault. He moves his queen to square c5 and deploys several pieces to target the weak pawn on square c6, placing it in a perilous situation. A series of piece exchanges starts and Carlsen seizes the chance and captures. Carlsen benefits from this by winning the exchange and leaving with an extra piece. He also threatens to exchange his knight for Kasparov's rook on d8, which would force Kasparov to rearrange his piece. Carlsen now enjoys a strong and aggressive advantage over the current world champion in his particular game. As Kasparov advances his queen to g6, creating a check threat, the game becomes more intense. In response, Carlsen moves his queen to block the check and offers a queen deal. Kasparov accepts with a little advantage due to double pawns on the g-file. Kasparov moves his rook to e1 and begins an assault on Carlsen's back line, creating a trading chance. With the finale drawing near, the game approaches a decisive stage. The world champion has a pawn lead against Carlsen going into this round. In their exchange of checks and precise movements, both players leave no space for error. Placing his rook on h1, Carlsen checks Kasparov's king and increases his lead to almost 2 pawns. In response, Kasparov relocates his rook to square b2, posing a winnable pawn threat and forcing Carlsen to move his king back to square g3 for defense. After a few moves, it seems like the draw is imminent. The game ends in a draw after both players appreciate the intensity of it. This is a huge victory for Carlsen, since it shows that even at the age of 13, he can hold his own against a top-ranked world champion, Garry Kasparov. What do you think of the game? Let us know in the comments section below, and make sure to like the video. Thanks for watching.